Our dogs are gonna be really pissed whenever all these extra walks, playtimes, and belly rubs stop. The largest thing you can see in the night sky is actually the smallest thing you can see in the night sky. Fear is entirely based on extreme leg counts. 8 legs, spider. Complete absence of legs, snake. Hundreds of legs, public speaking. If urinating felt as good as an orgasm, I'd drink a lot more water. You wouldn't cry so much during movies if it weren't for the music and visual effects. Pressing harder on the remote control buttons doesn't help when the batteries are flat. Yet we do it anyway. It's easy to come up with a shower thought unless you are trying to come up with a shower thought. So many great empty locations to play hide and seek in. When fish jump out of the water, they must feel the complete opposite of how we feel when we jump in cold water. They prob get back in like *SSHH. Hot 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 asterisk. If we have to keep on wearing face masks during the summer, we are going to see some weird tan lines. You'll know you've truly gotten over a girl after you forget what her hair smells/feels like. Living life in your mid to late 20s is a consistent daily argument with yourself on whether you're old or young. The person who came up with the slogan "What happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas" probably has some serious shit to hide. The fact that it became the motto for an entire town and seemingly gives everyone a free pass just goes to show how fucked up we really are. A lot of free mobile games could pass for Mario Party minigames. AIDS literally aids other infections in the body. Vacuum cleaners and leaf blowers function in opposite ways mechanically to serve the same purpose practically. If you travel to the South Pole, and run in a circle around it, you are circumnavigating the world. We all deserve auto insurance discounts due to not driving. Younger generations get blamed for ruining the country, but it's the older generation calling the shots. Whoever came up with the saying that you can't tell people your birthday wish was probably just tired of telling everyone what they wished for. You learn a lot about a person's character the moment a roach or a spider enters the room. It must be just as nerve-wracking to hear someone moving in a house when you're robbing it as when you're sleeping in it. Lucid dreaming is an affordable way to experience virtual reality. The taller you are, the further your feet are in the past, to when you see them. One day Zoomer will be kids' way of dissing old people. TVs are way more attractive now because they have lost lots of weight. If there was a most forgettable person award in a yearbook, they technically weren't the most forgettable person. The reason 777 is linked to gambling and luck is because of the opposite sides of a dice adds up to 7 3 times. Base and acid reactions are common in chemistry. Base and acid reactions are common at raves. Part of growing up is realizing just how many cheesy kids' movies your parents must have sat through for you. There are probably a lot of nice people in North Korea that we'll never get to see or know about. Love turns smart people stupid. Someday people might look at I'd, wasn't, would've etc. the same way we look at twas and tis. Nothing says essential worker like a 30-minute lunch break. A person whose job is taking care of others is a caregiver. However, a person receiving the care is not a caretaker. Almost everybody can move things with their mind. It's just limited to body parts. Only a comedian's worst nightmare is standing on a stage, in front of everyone he knows, and not being laughed at. The national hide-and-seek champion still has yet to be found. Getting your hair cut is one way to lose weight. When an eagle grabs a salmon, at least a fish gets to experience what it's like to fly. A life is an attempt to die in the most enjoyable way. There is no way to verify if someone actually thinks about these things in the shower. Ariel from The Little Mermaid could be a siren. Sometime in the future there will be historians for video games. The 4 tires of your car have all traveled different distances. Harry Potter probably wasn't that good of a Quidditch player. He just had his pay to win Nimbus 2000. Pigeons and seagulls must be struggling since their only source of food is gone. If you have many credit cards, you are either very rich or really broke. The purpose of birthdays are about celebrating the fact you haven't died yet. If we only buy what we need, our society will collapse. There is always a spot in the universe where, If you have a powerful enough telescope, you can see anything that ever happened on Earth. People are generally not as dumb as they look, but are usually as dumb as they sound. Google is probably the most pinged word. You know that you're close with someone if you can sit in silence and it not be awkward. When a frisbee breaks, it becomes a frizzwas. Most pirates are some kind of software librarians that collect a lot of stuff that may be impossible to find in the future, and torrent sites are some kind of collective library. People named Richard often get nicknamed Rick, but rarely ever get the nickname Chard. Vampires must really calculate when to get erections since they run on other people's blood. If the voice in your head is you, then who is the one listening? If Pokemon actually existed, humans would never have evolved to be the dominant species. Cows eat grain. Cows make milk and grain makes cookies. You rarely smell in dreams. Elevators are IRL loading screens accompanied with its own music. You've never been formally introduced to your sibling. Trying to find a straw of hay in a needle stack is objectively worse than trying to find a needle in a haystack. In the Pixar Cars universe, tire brands like Michelin and Pirelli are probably viewed as how we view sneaker brands. Anything can be considered a boomerang until it doesn't come back. Some people's first boy band experience is Alvin and the Chipmunks. Since we have no way of knowing if we all see the same colors, then it's possible that we all have the same favorite colors, we just don't know that they are the same. Olive oil was first created in Greece. And olive oil makes grease. Someone, someday, will be the last person to ever eat a Cheeto. Car alarms aren't nearly as effective as they were intended to be since they go off on accident more often than not, that most people just assume there's no serious trouble. Any book can be a sleep guide if it's boring enough. There are people who live their whole life without ever seeing the ocean. Sometimes you don't know how much emotional pain someone is in until you hear them talking in their sleep. In movies, nothing ever good happens in the attic. The thing that has been echoed the most is likely the word echo itself. Haunted houses are never small. Most of us didn't know the first password we made would follow us into adulthood. Being the biggest guy in prison probably sucks. Not only are you too big for the standard beds and jumpsuits, but every new guy tries to beat your ass. In about 13 years we'll have a new generation of quarantines. Cheerios is single-letter alphabet soup. Future generations watching Monk will think that the joke is that everyone but Monk is crazy. If you water water, the water is guaranteed to grow. We always just assume that toddlers and infants are laughing with us, and because they genuinely find what we are doing funny, they very well could be laughing at us because they think we are dumb and they find it funny that they are able to make us repeat the same dumb face or noise over and over. If our voices sound better in our heads, how does Morgan Freeman sound to himself? People confuse the spelling of lose with loose because they are sounding it out when writing. You are exactly one trip around the world away from yourself. Even though there are 7.53 billion people in the world, there are only 366 birthdays. Vaping is the sparkling water version of smoking cigarettes. Blue whales have pussies and they are so huge you can swim inside them. With the increase in viscosity of a liquid, there is a point where you will have to eat it. Having sex is a dick move. You can make your FBI agent a weeb by watching enough anime. Mask off by future is gonna hit different soon. Maybe Earth is cleansing itself. When we're allowed to go outside, it's going to be the biggest party since the end of World War II. A double leg amputee could technically choose their own height with their leg prosthetics. If you eat corn in university, it's unicorn. If you survive from death, you are technically an essential character for someone's quest. With online school, Google search for calculator is probably through the roof. Depression makes you want to die. Anxiety makes you feel like you are dying. The moment you choose that nobody can hurt you again, you lose the ability to love. Empty aerosol cans are still full, just not pressurized. A baby's thoughts probably sound horrible. Someone being disappointed in you feels a lot different than when they are mad at you. If Harry Potter has trouble making friends, it's because he bought all the candy on the train, preventing everyone from having one. Dora the Explorer just has crippling self-doubt. You know your product has done well when it is being used to describe other products. Many people would rather kill another human than harm their own pets. There won't be any video about free hugs for a while.